Well, hello there. There we are. I think we're connected up. I just got a new version of the app, and it's already trying to update the damn app again. Arr, Patreon apps. All right, what's going on? So, first thing I want to do is pull up my 2019 breeding log, share a few things with you, and then we're going to put some snakes in some tubs for tonight at least, and we may call it a day right there, just because it's a day. And I'll have to pull those other eggs, take them back. So, well, shit, I just told to update the new app. I mean, it just got literally a new app. Like, I just got told my app was out of date today. So, let's see. So, I was going on here to see, and I have to say, welcome to Megan and Joey. We got some new people today. That is awesome. So, we are doing good. But, come on, computer. Let me get this set up. And then I'm going to show you guys a few things. And again, this is more just for full disclosure. Ugh. Let me flip this thing around here. Boop. So, welcome to my laboratory numbers. We'll see what we've done so far. So this is one, that one hatched perfect. Lesser pastel hatched perfect. We're going to set those up today. This one is the one that we haven't pulled out yet. This one we just lost. So we did. We had 2 eggs go bad. So we'll put them at the end numbers. And then clutch number, let's see here. The clutch number 20, I'm really concerned with. So when you go up there to clutch 1, well, I guess we probably shouldn't show everything. See what people might. It don't matter. We sold everything. I'll just flip you around here. I live by Excel too. This will be, well, what did I do there? An easier way to do it, actually, because I can read what you're writing, set this down, and just kind of let you guys know. So clutch 1, we did, and I'm also going to calculate it out, so you'll know where we're at right now. I think that's important, right? So clutch 1, we did 10 eggs, and 10 hatched perfectly. So that was a good clutch. Clutch number 4, we hatched, or wait a minute, how in the hell am I already at clutch number 4? You get up to clutch number 1. That might make a difference. Okay, now I'm actually the right thing. Excel is awesome for this, by the way. We did 7 eggs, all hatched perfectly. Clutch number 2, and that was the one we need to film a clutch update for. That was our Mystic Potion clutch. Clutch 2 was our GHI Moho clutch, and we did 9. They all hatched fine. So we were doing really good there. Clutch 3 was one that I did 10 eggs, all hatched good. I think the year round thing, uh, I think what happens, guys, honestly, is I used to be very seasonal, but then you get more animals and their hormones just more spread out and you become year round. I think that's what's really going on. So we tend to get more and more year round as we go. Clutch 4, we did great again. Hatched perfect. Clutch number 5, we did great again. We hatched perfect. So we were doing really good. And I wonder almost, honestly, I wonder if part of it's not the new house. What I mean is maybe our problem started when we started having to move eggs. We'll see. For you new people, make sure you're commenting here on YouTube so I can see them. So, and those black pastels too, Jesse, they will be ready soon. Any time. Like that's I was expecting them to be ready. Now clutch number 6, which is an awesome clutch. We had 5 eggs, but we only hatched 4. We did have one go bad on that clutch. And then we had one go bad on the normal to the black pastel to banana black pastel to normal clutch. That's what that was. We had 10 eggs and we had one go bad. So we've lost 2 so far. And then we had 4 that all went fine. So we remember that I say we lost 2. And then we had the number 9, which is awesome, right? We bred her to her brother, who's also a dark snake, but he's a spider with dark sense. I'll pull him out so you guys can see him for those of you that haven't. So we hatched 9, and we lost one at 2 months of age, but that's not a hatching issue. That's a different thing. So then after that, we had clutch number 10. Now, in clutch number 10, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we had 6. They all were alive at cutting. Some of them couldn't get out. So, what are we talking about? Darkness? She's lame. Yes, she's lame. So we had all 6 hatched alive, or alive when they cut. But because of kinking, we had to cull and some died. And then we had 4. We lost 1 more, although I said it never appeared fertile. So that's 3 now we've lost. And then we had the pied clutch. We had 7, but we lost 1. So it's 4 we lost. And then we had the next one. We had, again, all of them hatched alive, but a lot of them had to be cold, and that was 7. So I'm curious what our numbers are proven out to be. Then I had 8, and I hatched 8. And then I had 6, and I hatched 6. And then I just had 6 and hatched 4. So that's 6 that went bad, I believe, correct? If my numbers are good. And so that's 113 total eggs we've taken to term so far. We've lost 6 of them, which I think is going to put us a little bit over. So that means we've hatched 107. Actually, it's 0.9469, which is rounds up to right at 95. So we're right on where we should be. You know, it feels worse because of the kinked babies that we had the issues with. So maybe that's part of it. And then I do think that fire clutch, I think we're just going to get kicked in the teeth on that, guys. And I don't know what's causing that. So, but I think that was due to retained eggs. So there's a lot of I think going on there. So I do think at the end of the year, I probably won't be at my normal goal of 95. But I know it's not the water content because we were very, very exact on that this year. And it didn't make a bit of difference. Now, again, that's not scientific testing. But we still do have clutch 18, which I expect to hatch them all. Clutch 19, I expect to hatch them all. So, you know, it may work out okay. And I'm hoping to hatch at least 2 and lose 3 more. Ugh. But let's go set up some babies, shall we? Let's go set up some babies. Now, I'm trying to think of where I want to set these up. Let's show them to you first. Whoa, come here. I'm trying to get better with this tripod thing, so bear with me. So this is what I brought over. So what I did was I tried what Tallgrass did, and I just left my lesser clutch in here to shed in the incubation tub. So there they are. They did good. Let me get these egg husks out of our way. Now these are not all going to be lessers because to transport them to the house, I did move them all into one tub. So some that were in my other chamber, we moved over here. Now, why did I try something different? Well, we've had a few sheds that weren't perfect with our babies. So I was curious if the grate would cause any issues, and it didn't. And again, you can see we had a lot of perfect sheds, so that's really good. So we've got here, this is from our lesser clutch, just a normal. When I say lesser, we were lesser pastel to a bell, or not to a bell, lesser pastel to a lesser. So that's from that clutch. This is from that clutch. Come here, little buddy. Here's another one from that clutch. Yeah. We'll get to see her again. That one's not from that clutch. You are. You're hiding in there. That one's from that clutch. And this one. So there you go. That's what we hatched out. Look at this bell. Bell's perfect. Eyes look perfectly sized, pure white, a nice lesser bell. So really excited about that. Get over there. And these guys here are all from our scaleless head clutch. So we've got, I think, 14 of them. So next step is making sure I've got 14 spots. And if I go there, I got 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll have 14 spots. So what we're going to do really fast is see if I've got these all. Got a lot of them. Oh, I hate that kind. I'm not using that one. I've got to have the right one around here somewhere. I'll just raise one of you guys up. So a lot of them I've already set litter in. No, that one needs cleaned. So we go through here. We look. I hate that kind too. So we could use that tub, or we could use If I do that, I'm going to need to do some cleaning. I probably won't make you guys watch me do cleaning. I can't remember clean those or not. We could go here. I'll probably go there. It's just easier. So rather than make you guys watch me clean, because that's boring as hell, let me show you these babies individually. That'll be way more fun. That's what I was going to do by doing the cleaning anyway. Was set them up and show you to them individually, especially on the scaleless head stuff. So pull out two of these things here. I mean, you can kind of see some of the differences in coloration. Now, this is a killer bee, so everything, and I mean everything, should have at least pastel, right? So really kind of neat stuff. Get back in there, you. But let's see if we can't spot some scaleless head. And I'll show you the markers on scaleless head. So here is a head, and if you look at, I don't see anything that touch you. Will you focus? Not really. That gets me too excited. And then if you look at the tail, so people always talk about the vent scale. I'll have to probably do a full video on this so I can really show it with Kurt's camera skills and not me on a single camera. But if you look really close, maybe you can see there's a scale right there, right at the butthole there at the cloaca. That's a complete scale. It's not split. So not all split scales are scaleless heads, for the record. Let me move these over to a different tub as I pull them out. But all scaleless heads will have split scales. If that makes sense. We'll put that one in there as I'm showing it to you. So then we'll look at this one, who's wrapped up rather tight. And again, on this one, I'm not seeing anything that screams scaleless head to me. But sometimes it's hard to tell when they're really young. Because as they get bigger, the head gets bigger, right? And as the head gets bigger, the scaleless head shows up more. However, this one, if you do look close, does have a split vent scale. So it'll bear a little bit of watching, right? Just a little bit. No, it's not. I've heard people say that too. I think they're wrong because I have animals with a split vent scale that are definitely not scaleless head. I've bred them. They don't produce scaleless heads. They weren't bought as scaleless heads. I've had them since before scaleless head was known, but they will have a split vent. Some scaleless heads are very, very low visual. So when you're working a scaleless head clutch, if you see that, you may not want to call what it is right away. Some of them are a lot easier to call, like this little sexy thing here. This is one we photographed, I do believe, and if you see, you can see the bald spot right there, right? This is definitely a scaleless head. That little bald spot's enough, and it's going to have a split vent. And there you can see split vent. So that's a definite scaleless head. So there's one for sure, right? And then we got a super pastel. See all the blushing on that. Definitely a super pastel. Come here, let me see your head. Let me see your noggin. Now on this one's noggin, nothing that's getting me too excited. Let me see your tail. And that one does not have a split vent at all. So we'll definitely I have not seen that, David. I'm curious what that would look like actually. It'll be interesting. Now here's another super pastel here. And this one, if you look right there, I believe that to be a scaleless head. See that little dot right there? That is likely enough. And then they're just going to have a split scale, right? And it absolutely does. And this full scale of stuff's going to be coming out. It is, guys. I mean, it's been long enough. It's going to be coming out. There's just no way to avoid it. Where are you going? What are you doing? You're running away from me. Don't run away from me. And this was our most obvious one right there. You can really see the scaleless head on that. So there's no doubts there. And of course, it's also going to have a split vent. So definitely full scaleless, or not full scaleless, scaleless head. You guys got me thinking full scaleless talking about it. So that gives us 1, 2, I don't know, one of these guys I said was maybe 3, I see you thinking about taking a bite at me. So at least 3 at a minimum that are scaleless head. 1 that might be, and 2 that definitely aren't. And the one this might be is, of course, the one with the split vent. So, all in all, I'm pretty happy. Oh, you talking about what a scaleless feels like? It doesn't feel like velvet. So I've had opportunity to feel scaleless snakes. As a matter of fact, I got to touch one of the very first scaleless snakes ever made. Wasn't one of Barczyk's. I got to pet. When I say scaleless, I guess I should reiterate one of the first scaleless ball pythons ever made. I got to put hands on one of WHS's when he hatched one of the first pastel scaleless and the first super pastel scaleless. I got to play with those. So I can tell you firsthand what it in fact feels like. Velvet is not what I think of. I've also got a scaleless rattlesnake, and when you were working that, I work that hands on. I don't work it freehand, right? I work it with a hook in hand. So, but it's in my hand, and I can tell you this: when you're working a venomous snake, you're very in tune with how things feel because you're feeling the muscles. You're trying to. Your senses are jacked up when your hands on. I'm not gonna lie because everything can kill you. Like everything that's a mistake, right? And when I tell people that scaleless snake reminded me of the first time I had a good hold of it. Of course, you're holding it like this, right? Um, was and people would ask. The only I could really come up with, and guys will understand this more than girls will. So, is guys, when you wake up in the morning, you got to take a pee, right? It's the first thing you do, and the first thing you grab in the world every morning to do that. That's what it feels like. I mean, what you really have is a tube of skin that has a spine in it. Now, obviously, that part of the human body doesn't have a spine, but unless you're feeling that spine, that's kind of what it is. So, scaleless snake feels like taking a piss in the morning. That's a pretty crude way of putting it, but it is there. I don't think you could go bad on that, Megan. Now, be aware of the spider issues and make your own decisions on that. Obviously, I'm for spider, but you got to make your own. You make your own decisions on the spider. But I love killer bees. I love my killer bee female. I mean, obviously, she laid me a nice clutch this year of those eggs. 6 was a little bit small for her, but she usually does more than that. But she did 6 this year. Actually, I showed that she did 8. Why did I only count 6? 2 are hiding from me. You know what? Son of a bitch. 1, 2. I only brought 6 over. I got 2 more of those. I was in a hurry, so I wanted to get those eggs cut because I was really nervous about them. So I remember there being 6, and I pulled out 6, and there was actually 8. So I left 2 at the other house. I did put them in my pockets for a while to make sure nothing's still hiding in there. Oh my, oh my. So I left 2 snakes at the other house. That's what I did. So I was thinking I had 4 for sure scaleless heads. So that's, yeah, apparently I left a scaleless head and a regular one at the other house whenever I was pulling them out. Oh my, oh my. See, guys, I am not a pro. Definitely an amateur. Okay, so Nick, you said you had a terrible time at Tinley? Some people will do that. So here's what I do. When it comes to that, I put it in their hand. When they go, oh, well, spider and wobble, I pull it out, right? I pull it out. And we go from there. We start a conversation. I'm very upfront with them. And some will buy it, some won't, And if they don't, that's okay. But I've really never had a major time selling spiders. I mean, they're not a high value snake, and they did take a little bit of a beating this year. Well, I'm seeing that trend start to change out. And what I mean is, they just it blew up because of one video really, and YouTube. And I love YouTube. It's a double-edged sword. And you know, and for the kid that made the video, I mean, I can't fault him. He's a kid. He's doing what kids do, and he's trying. And I don't think it was ever meant to be negative. And then it got popular for a while. You had a perfect storm. So you had that. It also became popular for a while to rip on Brian Barczyk. Like that was the thing to do. Make a video about how much you hate Barczyk, which I'm proud to say we never did. Yeah, there you go, David. But people did that. They did that a lot, and that was very unfortunate. So those two things coming together, and then Brian, having spiders for sale, and they incorporated that in the video. So they attached it to his name, and they used that to make that video. And so the spider gene got a lot of extra hate because of the Brian Barczyk hate. The Brian Barczyk hate, again, the guy's not perfect, but it's founded, I think, a lot in jealousy. And I'm just not saying he did everything right, but if you want to take shit that I did 20 years ago and you take shit that I've done over the span of my lifetime, I've been on this planet for 38 years, okay? And in that 38 years, I've done a lot of really good stuff, a lot of amazing stuff. There's times I've got out of my way to help people. There's times I've, been over backwards. There's times I've given the shirt off my back. But also in that 38 years, there's times I've done things wrong. There's times I've taken shortcuts. And there's times I've been an asshole. And if you only focused on the bad, if you took all the bad moments, all the things I did wrong, you can make me look like a horrible individual. And I truly feel that's kind of what happened there. And with the spider being connected to it and being blown out of proportion. Exactly. So I'm human. Boom. That's my point. That it just kind of caught the perfect storm. But it's kind of gotten out of vogue to go ripping on Brian Barczyk as much as it was the popular thing to do for a while. Thank God. And it's kind of gotten, getting out of vogue to rip on Spider. And I just didn't get a chance to read the full comfort. Just purely pull it back up. But I think it was from Chris Miller. And yeah, and that's the perfect example. He says it's funny how hot Spot Nose is while Spider gets truly trashed. One of the worst wobbling snakes I've personally seen was a freaking Spot Nose, right? And that's true, Chad. That is true. But there's lethal combos in a lot of things. And again, it kind of comes down to being upfront with people. So when I sell people stuff, I try to tell them that as much as I can. Especially if they ask about lethal combos, or if they talk about breeding. If I'm selling the spider, they're like, "Oh, I want a pet." I don't get into the lethal combos. I get into the wobble, but I don't get lethal combos. But they say they want to breed. I say, "Well, are you familiar with some of the things with spider?" And we talk about that. I mean, it's a 30-second conversation. Like, look, there's a handful of things you shouldn't pair with, like boom, 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 boom. But if you really look at those things that are lethal combos with spider as a known ingredient, most of them are lethal combos when they're together too. The one exception is blackhead. Blackhead and spider being allelic, and it actually cuts out the wobble, but it doesn't look like much. But champagne to champagne, lethal. Champagne to spider, lethal. Spider to spider, lethal. Spider to Spot Nose. Not necessarily lethal, but pretty sketchy. I won't be doing it again. Spot Nose to Spot Nose. Like it's kind of the same. So it tends to be that if the homozygous version is lethal, then the spider version tends to also act like whatever that homozygous would be. And I'm very curious to know. Now, I think with Spot Nose has been proven that a Spot Nose spider is not a super animal. It's not a allelic. But I wonder if some of those wouldn't be because we can't produce them. And I think if that's causing the same effect. But that's all just me being curious. And I don't really have any information to back that up other than looking at the trends, if that makes any sense. Yes, and if you're not familiar, champagne to spider is a no-go, and champagne to champagne is a no-go. Champagne to champagne is believed to be a leucistic animal, not part of the bell complex, but like an all-white snake. But they never really go term full enough to get pattern. I have seen one or two that I've heard of that have been hatched alive. They were probably hatched with assistance. Kind of like I could have gotten those caramels out of the egg alive if I wanted to cut them out, but they'd have just died anyway. The longest I've heard of one living, I think, was like 3 months, and it was a cyst fed every time, and they die. So definitely something to watch out for. champagne to spider, champagne to HCW, champagne to basically anything the spider would be lethal with, you should keep champagne away from too. That being said, I think champagne's an underworked morph, and it doesn't get the hate that spider does either. But that is that. But back to a few babies I do want to show off. So, come here. This is one I want to show off. I don't care how long you breed snakes for. Although I have her one guy that was just a buyer and wholesaler, and he looked at these like dollar bills. But this to me is still one of the most beautiful things I ever hatched. There is nothing like seeing a bell be born. So it is awesome. You know, right. It's true, Nick. And it's just getting the hate. It's the flavor of the month, man. You know, it's the flavor of the month. So you just, now red exanthic, I don't know any problems with. You know, I think you're fine there. But like black pastel, you know, nobody hates on that, although we are trying that ourselves, but its super form has been known to have problems. There are a few other genes that get just as much hate. Caramel doesn't get as much hate, I don't think, because you don't see them. But most breeders don't touch caramel, most of them. Things like that we do avoid if we know it's a bad combo. Desert, not desert ghost, two separate genes. Desert, you know, those are hard pressed to find because the females cannot pass eggs. So anyway, I did want to share this little one too from the other clutch because I do. I love hatching bells. And when you kind of had a couple eggs lost, which is always rough, man, though it feels good to have just a baby snake crawl through your hands, right? And makes everything feel nice. Makes me happy, makes me smile. So let me put that one in here. Oh, are you gonna have a shot at me? Don't be angry, little turd buckets. All right, guys. Well, obviously I've got some tubs to clean and some work to do, and dinner waiting at home, right? I'll get to like at 10 o'clock tonight or 10:30. You know what? I don't know, TJ. I'll tell you. We can check that really quick. Come here, little one. Oh, come here. I know. I'll tell you what, though, this bell is perfect. I love doing the lesser bells. I just think they're my favorite. But, you know, you do get big eyes. It won't affect anything on breeding. But it's still just one of those things. Just perfect. All right, I'm going to look under your hood, okay? We have a girl. You know what? Let me check something. Just out of curiosity. This will go back to the split scale. I'm going to look at all these lessers, see if I can find a split vent scale. Prove my point here. Nope. Nope. Because I know there are snakes I have with split vents that I've seen hatch that are not. Nope. We'll dispel that as a fact. Well, not today. Well, I'm going to look through my collection as I pick them up, and I'm going to find a non-scaleless head with a split vent eventually, and I'll share it because I know I've seen them. But if split vent was a guarantee, then, you know, there's other things that should be holding back and going with, right? All right, guys, anything else you want to see before we hop off there? And, oh, I missed the question from Jerry. You need it? How's the rattler doing? Well, I didn't even check it today. Let's go look at the little baby rattlesnake. I'm sure it's fine. I mean, I need to, come here, buddy. I need to heat it up. It's going to get dark in here, guys. Because there's no lights on in here. Alrighty. And see, it's in the Gaboon Viper cage. So basically what we've done is we put it in 2 cages. That way there's a heat mat there that's on the thermostat. And I did expect some people this weekend that won't be able to make it now. My great niece. Well, I guess you guys can't see that, can you? So I wanted to make sure it was double secured. But there it is. It's doing fine. Kind of doing what it was doing. How many eggs from darkness? Well, I tell you what, I'm not sure yet, and I think we got at least 6, maybe 7. I haven't candled them yet. But what I'll do is I will try to. We should have put one up. If we didn't, I'll have to yell at Kurt. It's possible we forgot. Here's the thing. He's trying to sell his house, so he's been really busy lately. He's been trying to redo his floor. That's why tonight's video for you guys is late too, but it's still coming. He's like, I'll work on it. I'll from work. It may not be until tomorrow because he's got a lot going on. But I do think 6 or 7. So what I will do is once I get these set up, then I'll pull those eggs. I don't want to pull them till the end, just because it definitely wasn't a feed video. Let me see what we did. Did we not do a Feed Your Fiend on Tuesday at all? Did I miss Fat Tuesday completely? If so, oh, he just texted me, said the Patreon video's up. So I'll have that for you guys today too. Woo! I did. Oh, you know what happened? We were so late on our normal video. It looks like we put the Tuesday video up and didn't even think about a Feed Your Fiend. So what I will do is I will make sure and feed some cool shit for you this week. I'll try to get 2 feedings in there if we can. I mean, kind of sometimes I don't know what to keep feeding. I made that skit out of anger because YouTube pissed me off. But this week we're going to try to film. We're going to see if we can't get the little rattlesnake to eat on camera. It'll probably be difficult. We'll see, but we're going to try that too. So yeah, we'll make up for it. And we keep all of our rats Disney. They all are at our other facility. Shipping ETA, Martok. Well, yours is still being a pain in the ass. So your shipping ETA, let me get a weight on it. I bet it's only like 50 grams. I've had to assist it a few times, and then it'll eat on its own, then it won't. It's just kind of been a pain. Where are you at? Why it's I don't know. It's just like a snake that wants to frustrate me today. Yeah, I'm setting at 58. So yours is going. That is your girl. So yours is going to be shipping ETA, and she literally lost a gram in front of my eyes down to 57. But that is an increase from what she was. So yours is going to be delayed a bit because I'm not ready to part with her yet, just due to size, man. And I'm sorry about that, but I want to get her right for you. And as soon as I can get her right for you, we would love to send it. And YouTube and Patreon love it. Well, good, because this is how we do things. So get used to it. We'll do it a lot. And then we've got the weather. So this is to give you an idea of Kansas, for those of you that aren't in Kansas. Today is 38-21, right? Saturday, 68-38. I could ship that day if it was Saturday. 53 on Sunday, still looking nice. The low of 22. Monday is 28 for a high and 9 for a low. I hope that's showing up very well. I guess I'm touching the wrong screen. But we've just hit a lot of cold Mondays. So it's kind of kicking us in the pants. And the cold spell that happened earlier, I was hoping to get 2 to 3 more weeks of shipping in. But we may have to kind of pick our battles when we get a warm spell now. Kind of sucks. But we do have a few things to ship out. And yeah, if you want to drive up and get it, then you don't even need shipping. We'll definitely do that too. That's great for us. But when we get a shot, we will be able to ship stuff. It's just we got to get it to that, low of 38. And we get those days in December sometimes. January, February, not so much. December, sure. But you can also get winter-like temperatures right now. So it kind of happens. And Chad, we are located in Manhattan, Kansas, is where we're at, home of K-State. By the way, 16th in the college football playoff rankings. Thank you very much. Woohoo! And if you're only 3 hours, Megan, absolutely. If you pick up something too and you want to drive to get it, I'm all for that. That makes my life easier, makes everybody kind of happier. That's the way to do it if we can. If we even need to drive to meet you like halfway, depending on which direction it is, we can arrange that. I know I got one guy I need to reach out to here soon because we might be able to hook up to take some snakes down to the Oklahoma border because I'll be staying there for Thanksgiving. I just have to get up to him before I get to my sister's house because she will not allow that shit. Like, not going to happen. Although we might be able to leave one with my niece too. I've done that before in Oklahoma, right? So if you want to do that, Disney, I'm all for it. Smuggle away. All right, guys, let me hop up off here so I can get these snakes set up really quick, And then I can get you what I was going to tell you is I'll make you a lens video of me pulling the egg so you can see exactly how many eggs are in the clutch with the darkness. So that would be pretty cool. Don't go through the X-ray machine; they'll see those things on you, right? But otherwise, if you put them in zipper pockets, I should clear the metal detector. Stay warm. It'll work, right? It'll work. All right, guys. Thank you so much to all of you. I appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea how much help run this thing and the goals that we're achieving. I mean, excuse me, there. We would not be there. Well, the problem with setting up a live chat is I got a bunch of poop to clean, and that's really hard to clean the tubs and drag this with me, the camera system, and it's just not very efficient. So that was my original plan, but then I realized that it wasn't going to work. If we had camera guy here, we might film something like that sometimes. Yeah, and Elizabeth, I did get your message. Well, I'll try to get yours out if you got somewhere to wear it to. I'll work with you to get that out to you quicker. But we are going to start a new way to do the t-shirts. Not a new rules, but a new way for you guys to get them more efficiently than what I do because I really suck at that. And I'll own that. I'll own that. So, oh, thank you, Chad. I really appreciate that. So, you guys that are new, what that Hair for the Holidays does is we usually collect it this month, and then we turn it all over to the police department. No, it's not the police or Fraternal Order for Police. It's basically my union who sets this up. So we'll give every penny we get to them for that. And what happens then is, so when we go to houses as cops, sometimes the enlist bundle, whatever kind of call it, maybe it's a stolen bike, maybe it's the domestic, maybe it's whatever, maybe we're in their school. It doesn't matter how we get there. Or sometimes other people contact us too. And we'll see these houses where that there's nothing. Like Christmas is going to come, there's nothing. And, for a kid in that situation, and I mean, we've all, had lean times in life, or most of us have, and some of us have probably been in the exact situation I'm talking about when they grow up. Um, there's not a lot of hope when you're in that situation as a kid. And then when Christmas comes around, that's one of the few times a year you have hope. And then when there's nothing there, it just continues to crush that hope. So what we do is we contact those families and we ask for permission to make sure it's okay with them. And if most of them say absolutely, and then we set up and we take a day where cops and firefighters, other people sometimes have a lot in the first responder community, will take those kids shopping. And the donations that we gather here for like the beards and other sources we use from local businesses all go to that. And we give those kids a Christmas. So not only does Christmas then have hope because something magical happens and they get to go shopping for their whole family and they get to have a Christmas, but on top of that, a lot of those families too, there's a distrust with the police just because we show up and once the kids see, we're there and mom and dad are in trouble or whatever it may be, and now they're having a positive interaction with police as well to try to help that police community relationship. So it does great things all over, and even if they don't grow up liking the police, at least we gave a little bit of hope at Christmas time. So I thank you for that. It means a lot. And I was blown away last year because last year, and I don't think we'll do this every year, but we raised just a tick under $1,000, which was mind-boggling. To give you an idea, we have a pretty good-sized police department, about 200 employees, and out of those 200 employees, and everything that the employees themselves did, okay, employee-led, I think there was a little over $7,000 raised, right around $7,000. And anybody that has a beard has to put up at least $100. Like that's the rules, right? And Olympus raised almost $1,000 of that. So we accounted for 1/7 of the total donation from there. That's that's amazing. Felt really good being able to take that in there and turn that over and say, hey, here's what we did. And the mind-boggling thing too is not only does it affect the kids then too, and the cops and kids relationship is, I think, at least on my local level with where I work, everybody thought I was nuts, right? They're like, oh, you're a reptile. Okay, whatever, idiot. And then when they see it grow and they see these good things coming from it, they're like, how'd you do that? I'm like, well, it came from Patreon and YouTube and the people who were there. And then it starts to kind of change that perception a little bit too. So I like that as well. So anyway, let me hop off here. You guys are getting me all emotional. Set up some eggs, get those back in the incubator, and take 7 new eggs home. I think 7. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. We'll see you next time.